Hey everybody, I'm John at Click Cards. It is Friday, July 14th. We are less than 2 weeks till the National in Chicago. Counting down the days. I'm getting pretty excited. And I got in the mail yesterday this, which is my little single ticket from the TriStar folks. I'm gonna get one autograph while I'm there because once I looked into what these players are getting for autos, I was like, okay, let's rethink this strategy. I was thinking about getting like a Mike Schmidt, maybe wait in line for him. And when I saw what he was getting, I was like, no, I'll buy that someday off of eBay. And it was a Frank Thomas was more than I expected, and a couple others I thought of. So there's one player I'm going to get an auto for in line there. I'll wait in line for a bit and see how it goes. But it's this player right here, this Hall of Famer Alan Trammell. The reason I'm going to get his auto is because I've got this card. I think it'll be a fun kind of unique kind of auto to get and worth waiting in line for. A 1978 Topps Burger King Tigers Trammell rookie. So it's actually his sort of it's a solo rookie card basically. So it'll be fun to get his auto on this. I picked this up probably a year or so ago at my LCS and wasn't just happened to see it. I was like, wow, I probably should get this because it's something you don't really see that often. I mean, you could find them; they're not that rare, but it was cool to get, and it'll be nice to have his autograph on it. So, looking forward to getting Trammell's auto on there. But just thought I'd take a few minutes here and I don't know, just talk a little bit about my first national coming up. I'm pretty excited about it, and so and the fact that I've been doing these videos now for about a year and a half. I think it'll I'm not going in with I don't know what kind of expectations I'm going in there frankly with, but I know it'll be a huge show. It's basically I've been to car shows before, even some big ones back in the way back when I was a teenager, or maybe probably like more like a teenager high schooler. But nothing like the national in terms of size. So that'll be fun. Just from videos I've watched and what I've heard, I'm expecting a combination of Disney World, Las Vegas, and like the respective sports Hall of Fames. If they all got together and sort of like did a big mashup, that's kind of what, in terms of like excitement and cool factor, make you feel like a kid again. But also, I think the cool part, or a big cool part, will be in addition to seeing great cards and memorabilia, will be meeting some of you perhaps and just making some new friends there through a shared passion for collecting sports cards and just loving sports in general. So really looking forward to it. Should be a fun time. And gosh, it's less than 10 days away. So I'm going to arrive there on very early on Thursday. So that's the 27th, I think. I did I ended up springing for a VIP ticket. I was hemming and hawing for the longest time about it, and then I don't know, about 2 weeks ago, the national folks sent out an email saying, "Oh, VIPs are almost out too now in terms of being sold out." And I was like, "Okay, let's just try to get it." And so I ended up getting it like within an hour after I saw that email. It was probably a good thing I did because the next day they were sold out, I think, after they sent that email. So, I kind of made the thought where, it's my first one. Let's try the VIP. And if it turns out to be like totally not worth what I paid for it, then I won't do it next year. So I'd rather, I think, go about it that way than have a great time this year. And it was like, oh, I wish I had gotten VIP. So went in that direction, and so we'll see what happens. There's some extra amenities or whatever, or even just having the lounge available to sit down once in a while will probably be not bad. It would be nice to have, I guess. Probably the most valuable thing about it would be being able to go in 30 minutes earlier than when it opens for everyone else. So that hopefully will be worthwhile by itself. So my hope is I'm leaving like at the crack of dawn on Thursday morning from Michigan where I am. So I'm about 2.5 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours, probably closer to 3 hours from the convention center right by O'Hare, depending on how early I get out of here to try to hit as little Chicago traffic as possible. Although, that's an impossibility, so it'll definitely be backed up to some degree, and possibly to a large degree. But my hope is to get there before the VIP Open is. and we'll see if I can, make that work. I get an hour to play with. So since I'm about as far west in the Eastern time zone as it gets, in Southwest Michigan, so that'll be in my favor, I guess, if I can, just wake up in time early enough and schlep on over there. So a couple of things I'll be, in terms of what I'm looking to get. I'm really just looking to soak it in. That's what I'm looking to get more than anything else. My budget won't be very big. It won't be minuscule, but it won't be big. Sort of like some, maybe some grander visions I thought maybe I'd take to the show several months ago have, got a little more realistic, and that's totally fine. I am just really looking forward to soaking it in, meeting, some of you, maybe many of you, and just making some really cool connections. And so, a few things I am going to look for will be, and I mentioned this in a recent video, I'm looking to hopefully buy a few more slabs for this little 1978 Topps Hall of Fame collection goal I have. I have 13 of the roughly 60 or so, and I say roughly 60 because it depends if you want to throw like Pete Rose in there, who's got 2 cards in the set. As of now, I'm thinking about including him in the set, but I probably won't get him until the end. Got Earl Weaver just a few days ago, came in another 8. So far, all 13 I've gotten so far are in 8s. And the thing with the managers, I've gotten a lot of the managers so far. It'd be nice to, they're not super expensive, which is great. I got this for just under 20 out the door. I think it was like 19 and change out the door. There are not too many of these. That's the thing. There are not nearly as many manager cards that are graded, 8 or 8, 7 or 8, as everyone else in the set. So when I see a manager card, I've been sort of paying attention to it. So I got the Weaver. I still need Dick Williams, and I still need Sparky Anderson, and that might be it. I think I might have all the other manager cards at this point. But my hope is that I'll look to if I could see some tables with a nice collection of high-end slabs, 7s and 8s. So it's not like 9s and 10s, but 7s and 8s at some tables. I might look to try to get a deal, maybe buy 3 or 4 at a time, and off of a dealer, and see what they could do for me. So I'm hoping to come away with, I don't know, let's call it a half dozen to 10. I'd love to come away with that many just to kind of add to the goal, but I don't want to blow my entire budget on just 78 slabs because they're always available on eBay. But other than that, really, I'll have my main goal in terms of pickups that maybe would be cool to get are really going to be looking to get my first like pre-war cards. I have one pre-war card technically from, I have one T206 card that I did buy a few months ago and got graded, and that was fun. But there are a couple of other sets from pre-war that I've had my eye on, and I'm not like looking to hit the buy button on eBay about them. I'd rather see them in person. And so a couple of cards I have on my radar, and if I come away with one, I'll be happy. So one of those would be a T205 John McGraw. That's one card I'm looking to get. I really like the gold borders on those T205s. Of course, they're going to be, not in good condition. That's really not the issue there. It would just be cool to have a card like from a legend of baseball like John McGraw, New York Giants manager for many, many years, and many argue that he quite well might be the greatest manager of all time. So certainly make the case. So that would be one that I'm sort of looking for. I'd love to find a nice example or 2 or 3, and see if I have a chance to pick one of those up. Again, long shot maybe, but we'll see. Other than that, I'd love to pick up my first 1933 Gaudy if possible. I don't have any Gaudis. One card I have an eye on is the Leo DeRocher from that set. A while back I talked about a little mini goal I'd like to have of a couple of nice graded examples of Leo DeRocher cards. I have a 53 Bowman Color of him, and then I'd love to get his 33 Gaudy because it's such a classic set, the Gaudy set, and then I'd love to get a 71 DeRocher in like a 7. I'd be looking for that actually, so which would be a little bit of a challenge to find, so because of the black borders. I'd love to have 3 cards of his because he's one of the most colorful and interesting characters in all of baseball, and his career in the game just spanned a half a century at least, which I find pretty neat. the people he managed, the players he managed, his involvement in sort of just being around some of the game's all-time biggest moments, whether it's the shot around the world or a member of the Gas House Gang. He started his career with the Murderers Row Yankees, so it's or well 28 I think he was on that team, so which 27 really is the Murderers Row team, but same era. So that's just kind of cool. And then he managed some really solid Cubs teams, even his late in his career's late 60s. So I'm kind of looking for him. And then I'm also going to look for some cards from like a couple of just really cool sets that on eBay look great. And I want to see if I could pick one or two up at the National. The Diamond Stars set from the mid to late 30s. I think there was just one set, but they kind of produced it maybe in 2 to 3 years, if I understand it right. I might look to pick up a card or two from that, and because they're a little more reasonable in terms of cost that you could find. And so I have my eye on the Wainer brothers, actually, from that set. Paul and Lloyd Wainer, who are Hall of Famers, Pirates legends. I'm not a Pirates fan, but they're sort of just like under the radar all-time greats. I did some reading on like Lloyd Wainer, sort of one of those cases where maybe he's, maybe lucky he's in the Hall of Fame, but he had an amazing career all his own. Paul Wainer was, I think he had over 3,000 hits and was just a legendary hitter. But they played on those like late 1920s Pirates teams, big outfielders for them. Like I know they played the Yankees in one of those World Series in the late 20s. And their nicknames are just very interesting. Big Poison and Little Poison. And there's an interesting story behind that if you read into it. I think it had to do with supposedly someone, and this is just why I love vintage baseball, because of the stories you find. I'm going a little off tangent here, but apparently in either Brooklyn or in New York, like Polo Grounds in New York, apparently someone in the crowd was talking about Paul Wainer and saying, he was referencing talking about that person apparently, and it came out like in a New York accent, poison, like poison. And so apparently the nickname stuck, and he was called Big Poison. I think I have that right. If I don't have that quite right, someone correct me down below. But I just think that's a fascinating story, and they're just again really under the radar kind of Hall of Famers. So, and they both have really cool cards in that set. The Lloyd Wainer card specifically, it's just a really cool, it's such an Art Deco looking set if you're not too familiar with it. And so I'm hoping to see some examples of that set in general, and possibly those two players in particular. We'll see what I can find. So those are a couple I have my eye on. So that's like 4 or 5 cards right there I'll sort of keep an eye out for. I could look at Golden Age, 50s, 60s, vintage. I might pick something up along the way, but really I'm not looking to blow a chunk of my budget on, say, a 67 mantle or a 63 mantle. Those are kind of the other 2 mantles I really would like to get at some point, but I could find them whenever I'm really ready to make that leap. I'd rather look for some cards that just don't find every day or that often. I have maybe 1 or 2 others I kind of have an eye on too, but we'll see where that goes. So really that's about it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we're less than 2 weeks out, 10 days out or so from the National. I'm really getting excited about it. Showed a couple of cards just now, and if you've got any, I've watched a couple of tips videos, but I'm going in with an open mind, and I'll bring the essentials that need to be brought: backpack, water, snack, protein bar, yada yada, supplies, in the backpack, etc. One thing I'll mention real quick before signing off: I will bring a few cards too of my own, whether I have a chance to maybe if they could work it for a particular deal at a particular table, or trade night. I might stop by the trade night or a trade event. I might just to see what it's all about. But my gut is that they're more about ultra modern and probably more like football, basketball. That's my guess, but I'll poke around. I think it's at the Lowe's Hotel, so we'll see what that's about. I'm staying at. Gosh, I can't even remember the hotel I'm staying at. It's just a few. It's within walking distance of the convention center, but it's like maybe 1 block down, maybe a block and a half down. So it's not the closest hotel. It's more like maybe a 10-minute walk to the convention center, maybe 10 to 15. More like 10, I think. I just can't remember the name of it. But I know there's the big event for the content creators and just anyone else watching what videos at the Embassy Suites, I think, that is happening on that Thursday night. Looking forward to hopefully meeting some of you there, maybe many of you there. And with that, I'll wrap up this video. I know I probably went a little longer than I usually do, or like I usually do, I should say. But that's really all. I wanted to talk a little bit about the National, a couple of not even goals. I mean, goals really loose. I'm just looking to enjoy the moment and have a lot of fun. And with that, I will see you on the next video. Take care.